Since its inception in 1945, when 9 yachts competed, the Cruising Yacht Club of Australia's annual Sydney Hobart Yacht Race has grown in stature and today is recognised as one of the yachting world's blue water classics. From Sydney Harbour, the 680-mile race takes its adventurous competitors south through the unpredictable Tasman Sea to the finishing line at Hobart. The 1962 race gains a truly international flavour with the arrival in Sydney Harbour of the 57-foot aluminium yawl Ondine, crack American racer which sails from New York to compete. Owner-skipper Huey Long is at the helm as the sleek Ondine is given a memorable welcome to Sydney. Ondine has an imposing record with a first in the transatlantic race, first in the St. Petersburg to Fort Lauderdale, first in the Buenos Aires to Rio de Janeiro, and first in the North American Ocean Racing Championships for the 1962 season. She is crewed by experts. Ondine sailed the 13,000 miles from the United States with a skeleton crew. The balance of her crew arrived by air shortly before the race and were met by Huey Long. Ondine, like all yachts, was slipped for final adjustments shortly before the start. Her sleek lines breathe speed. Dawn, Boxing Day, December the 26th, 1962, and the Cruising Yacht Club's mariner at Rushcutters Bay. Soon the first sail is hoisted and the competitors set off. The deserted mariner is deserted no longer as friends farewell cruise. The flag officer, Eastern Australian Area Admiral Gattaker, fires the cannon to start the race. Ondine wins the start by seconds and with a 20-knot southeaster behind her, streaks for Sydney Heads with 41 yachts in hot pursuit. Threatening rain, overcast skies and choppy seas do not deter the huge spectator craft fleet accompanying the racers to the heads. Ondine sets a mizzen staysail as challengers come thick and fast. Astor, at 73 feet, the biggest craft in the race, gradually pegs Ondine back. The 57-foot steel yawl Solo is also bridging the gap. With the 3 larger flyers vying for honours of first out Sydney Heads, the smaller craft are battling neck and neck to hit the open water. Astor was first out the Heads in a record 16 minutes. Close behind was Ondine, with Solo next. Then came a pack of yachts. Spectators crammed vantage points to see the start. The Caltex radio relay ship Kunguna accompanies the yachts to sea. Hers is the task of collating the position of each yacht 3 times daily and radioing the information to Sydney. A special ferry accompanied the yachts 1.5 miles to sea. For many of the passengers it was, well, to say the least, a sickening experience. Yachts are really ploughing their way to Tasmania in these shots. The weather means no let-up for crews who work like yachtsmen as their craft beats south into the wind. Many yachts are under reduced sail with mainsails roller reefed. This weather gives no respite to craft or crews. At dawn the next day, Astor held a handy lead over Solo. Ondine was third, then Winston Churchill, Southern Maid, Eilina and Ruthine. The leaders had passed Montague Island and Astor had covered 200 miles. Overnight, the wind had swung to an easterly, and in the morning to a 10 to 12-knot nor'easter, giving competitors a light running breeze for the next 12 hours, and allowing them to hoist their big sails and extras. Chirana's crew are enjoying the downhill run. Astor, too, has weather to suit her. and soon breaks out her big sails. The lighthouse keeper at Gabo Island reported she passed going like a destroyer. The yachts are slicing through the Tasman now and seem set to break the record of 3 days, 30 minutes, set by Kurrawa 4 in 1957. With nightfall, the northeaster freshened to 35 knots, and at dawn, Astor was still leading from Solo and Ondine. The leaders had raced across Bass Strait during the night. The remainder of the fleet was strung out back past Gabo Island, with the smaller yachts planing towards Tasmania and all yachts making exceptional time. The leaders had covered over 400 miles. It had been an exhilarating 24 hours sailing. The weather forecast, however, was ominous. Julie, with owner Jock Sturrock at the helm, makes preparations for the weather. From on board the Caltex radio relay vessel Koongoola, the fog rolls in, obliterating the sun. Koongoola uses her radar as the fog thickens. Yachts proceed wraith-like through the gloom. Lookouts on Koongoola sight the sloop Salacia.
Areas of mist and fog developing mainly in Bass Strait and eastern waters.
Ahead of the fog, Vic Meyer on board Solo anxiously watches the weather. Solo has a chance of both line and handicap honours at this stage. Solo reports her position to the radio relay vessel. Ondine has got the weather to suit her and is closing on both Solo and Astor. Ondine's crew are full of hope as she closes the gap on the leaders. On the morning of the third day, however, a change has come over the scene. Astor is close inshore in Storm Bay. Ondine has passed Solo. Southern Maid and Winston Churchill are further out to sea. The stragglers in the fleet, who missed the dying winds which plagued the leaders overnight, are closing on the leading yachts. Dawn, and Astor is barely underway. The wind has deserted her. She is wallowing on a glassy sea under Cape Rowell and has been becalmed for 8 hours. There's even time to put the kettle on and brew a cuppa. Skipper Peter Warner is really worried and orders the crew to set everything as Ondine, 3 miles astern, gradually creeps up on Astor. Astor gets underway again as the breeze picks up, but it's still Ondine's weather. Ondine is flying everything except the crew's laundry. This is her weather. But is the finishing line, by now only 40 miles away, too close? Astor's new Venturi spinnaker is drawing properly, but inch by inch, Ondine is catching her. The fantastic battle for line honours between the two leaders is really on, with Ondine flying towards Astor. The mouth of the Derwent River, and the crews work feverishly as the finish draws closer. With the wind dead astern, Peter Warner resets his Venturi and relies on his spinnaker and mainsail. But Ondine has headed Astor into a foul tide. The finish up the Derwent has spectators on their toes as Ondine leads Astor by less than 1 minute. Ondine Ondine beats Astor by 1 minute. Solo finished 45 minutes later. The other yachts are becalmed and fog-bound off Tasman Light. Thousands gave Ondine's crew a tumultuous welcome to Hobart. Astor douses her spinnaker as Ondine runs into Hobart's Constitution dock. Ondine took 14 hours, 43 minutes, 23 seconds off the race record, which has stood for 5 years. All yachts finished the race by December the 30th. Shown finishing are Southern Myth, Malloy, Julie. On corrected time, Solo was first, Ondine second, and the smallest yacht in the race, the 29-foot Galatea M, third. A new record, a record entry, and the most exciting finish for line honours yet. No wonder the crew of Ondine look happy. Huey Long receives honours bestowed on all winning skippers. The fleet is moored in Hobart. Casualties? Well, Ondine broke 2 spinnaker poles, a crew member of Southern Maid broke an arm, Athena withdrew with a broken rudder. And anyone in the market for torn sails could have bought dozens.